Hello everyone, warm welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to do a review on the new 4021 reducer from Createx. I just purchased this about a week ago from Maple Airbrush based out of Edmonton, Alberta. Go to the website, it's going to be in the link down below, and message or talk to Donna Bush. She's an expert in airbrushing and airbrush products and gives the best service out of any supplier, in my opinion, in North America. And I've dealt with a few other ones, and she's absolutely at the top. So to start off, I'm not sponsored by Createx whatsoever. This is just my own personal review. At the moment, there is at the moment only one or two different reviews on this product. It's that new. And I've been looking for more review videos just to get their ideas on the product, but I haven't found too much yet. So I thought I'd do my own. Anyways, this product comes in, let me see, it comes in 2 ounce, 4 ounce, 8 ounce, 16 ounce, which is this one, and 32 ounce bottles. So far, it's the odor isn't that bad. It's no different than 4012 or 4013. I've never used 4011, so I'm sure it's probably close to the same. But I don't know, something about this, it's magic, absolute magic. You don't get any tip dry. So I tested it out yesterday, and it worked unbelievably. It was just awesome. I first started with black Createx illustration paint, and then I went to the hardest paints of all, white in anything. So this is compatible with all of the Createx paint line, whether it be Wicked. I don't know much about the Scene product line, but illustration, just the regular Createx t-shirt paint, Autoborn. So I've been told it's good for all of it. Now it says here to only add about 10%, but I've added a little more because I'm going to be running this today through my HPCS Eclipse. And we're going to do a scene for you today on a black mixed media paper from Strathmore. It's black mixed media paper, vellum surfaced, the stuff right here. I also get this in gray and in white. And yeah, it's good to work with. See, I did my test panners yesterday. So what we're going to do is we're going to do for this review, we're going to do a scene that is a galaxy scene. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so black mixed media board. This is what we're using, and it is just a 184 pound paper, and it's just using this for demonstration. So what I've done is we've mixed illustration white, and because there is going to be a bit of blue shift, I thought I would mix in a bit of the Tim Gore's Bloodline, and only because there's a bit of orange mixed in with this pigment to give it that off-white color. So I mixed a bit of it in here just to see if it would change the color shift. So I'm curious to see if it will. Once I mixed so much of the illustration white and the Tim Gore's Bone White, I mixed in the 4021 reducer, and I like to use this little teapot here. Some people just pop the top and pour, but I find sometimes it pours out too quick. So I like to just take the cap off, or maybe put some of it into a little container, and then I like to use this teapot to control my my percentage or my amount of drops a little bit better. So once we put it in the cup, we had let it sit for 15 minutes. And doing so, it allows from what I've read, the reducer to kind of melt into the paint, or melt the paint, and gives it much more flow. And yeah, it just kind of increases the wetness of it, I guess. Again, very little tip, absolutely no tip dry. I've only had to use my brush yesterday. Within the 45 minutes that I sprayed, I only used this about once, just to brush off my needle a little tiny bit, and it wasn't even a buildup. It was just a little skim. So also, and I didn't realize this, but as I was reading, it talked about the pot life. So once you mix the 4021 reducer with it, it just doesn't last, or it doesn't stay usable for a day or two. It's usable for weeks, maybe even months. We'll find out. Got to get some small little bottles to mix the paint up with, and if I get a more a bigger amount, and then cap it and see how long it lasts. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off. I've got her loaded up in the brush here, and we are going to, I'm using my Iwata HPCS Eclipse, and just have to get my stencil out here. I'm also going to be using the Gerald Mendez texture stencils in the small size. So let's just kind of put this in the center. This is going to be our middle of our galaxy, where it's the brightest, where it's the most concentration of stars. Get her sprayed fairly white. I find it goes on really nice. My pressure might be a little bit lower, but that's okay. We can adjust that after. Just going to give it some air. And as you can see, no tip dry. If I would have just mixed this with water, I'd be picking that off right now. So we'll just give it some air to dry off. We'll pull this stencil. Look at that. Just going to give a haze around it. Of course, I find it's a little bit spackly, but I'm just going to add a little bit more reducer to this paint. Loosen it up a little bit more, and get a little finer spray. But for a galaxy, a little bit of spitting, that's okay. A little bit of stipulizing, I'm all right with that. Just makes it look starry. So we're just gonna give it I really like the flow of it. And then I'm gonna add some stars, so I like to just pull back on the needle, get a little bit on the end there, and then just give it a shot of paint, a shot of air. You got it. This is tricky. Sometimes you get a little shot like that. That's okay. Get a little closer to that. Just get a little more haze to it. There we go. Still, very little to no tip dry. I'll just keep showing you that over and over again. Okay, so now we're going to get this area where we have our rings of our galaxy. I'm just going to quickly move. I've been editing out the sound of the compressor here. I'll also come in with a bit of a dark paint in the end, just to touch up a couple areas there. not going off reference. I looked at a picture earlier on the net and it just kind of stuck in my head. Just to get the general outline of it. Because they all have that rotating appearance to it. The gravity is, yeah, we can use little bits of our move that along.
Using Gentleman to stencil here.
Got some other ones here that stencils that give kind of a curvature, which is kind of neat. What's neat about these random stencils is you can move them around. You can make your patterns soft, or you can make them very hard. An edge. And you can just spontaneously work this. So we're going to get some areas where it's a little more pronounced at the base here. And again, very, very little to no tip dry. Like you can see that needle tip. It's a little bit white, but I find once it sprays, it kind of peels that off. I can give it a shot and I'm almost back to a metal piece again. Get in closer to your little center, you can kind of and we'll get one that just we'll add some more white in around this galaxy piece here. Still very little tip dry. I can take my brush here and just do that, and it's just like one little brush and it's back to normal again. Just amazing how it layers. Doing a full spray now. full open basically. Still very little to no tip dry at all. Not enough to even cause a buildup or anything. On the center of this, I'm just going to keep giving it little shots of paint, shots of air, let it dehydrate.
Very, very light areas here, so that we can.
So you can add more of these stars if you like, because there's always lots of stars within the Milky Ways of these galaxies. And this is just a white underpainting. You can add different colors if you want. I'm going to come back in a short bit with a bit of black. It's not too stark black, and I can pick out some darkened areas, because overall this has got enough overspray that that's getting a little hazy. So this has been probably a good 15-20 minutes, I'm guessing, and you know, actually a little bit more. I've edited a few spots with my compressor going, but as you can see, there's still no tip dry on this at all, and it's magic. I'll have to say that it truly is magic. I don't know what they've done, but it's brought painting with acrylic or water type acrylic or urethane to a whole new level. All the other reducers that I've used did not give me the characteristic of this, and I could get it down as thin as I could, and to the point where it was like so thin that the second you sprayed it, you almost wet the paper too much and your color would bleed. But here we get good consistency, good paint buildup, and I can't complain. So we're going to come in with a little darks here, and then we'll come to the conclusion. But as you can see, the proof is in the pudding. It is fantastic. Working with Createx Illustration White, and yeah, I've been spraying for I don't know how long, and I've only given it just a little brush once, and just one brush, and it removed everything. So it wasn't like a buildup where it gets almost like a big plug on the end or a big gob of paint. And you could be very careful, because then if it lets loose and you got your trigger pulled back, waiting for paint to come, boom, you get this big spider. We have not had this at all. Absolutely impressed and amazed. All right, so to finish this off, I have mixed up and I've let sit for about 10 or 15 minutes. Illustration black, and it's not the opaque black, but it's I think it's a little on the lighter. I reduced it down a fair amount, where I've given myself just kind of a diluted black, not a straight black. And we're just gonna jump in here, and we're just gonna put in some areas where you want to bring out a bit of a shadow to it. Just in front of it, like so. And just paint in some areas where we have some dark voids. few extra little spots here.
Black in, and as you can see, no tip dry. Believe it or not, black is a color that tip dries a fair bit as well, I find. It can become quite frustrating. That's some black in areas here. And the fine line is great.
Get some bigger areas here. And there we have it. So, finishing our little picture here, we've done of our galaxy, just to hold it up in front, just to get a different view of it. You know, we could add some color to it if we want, maybe on a later video. Add some candies, or, you know, you could add some transparent paint. But, so again, that went well. That was just a base study done in white, the most dreaded paint to spray of all. Black with a close second. And, you know, but now, could this be the Holy Grail? Could this be the thing that eliminates the most painful, annoying thing in airbrushing? And that's tip dry and picking tip dry. Of course, you know, solvents, you have less of that problem, but apparently any paint in white is an issue. Now, to mix the Createx line, this will work with everything. In your Createx line, if you go on the website, there's a PDF you can look up, and it'll tell you what it's made out of and how to mix it. You can mix it 10%, as it says in the bottle, but I give it a little bit more just to thin the paint down for my smaller airbrushes here. I'm amazed by it. I just am. This is great stuff. In the fact that it, you know, you don't get the tip dry. It gives such a long pot life, and we're going to find that out later on. I'm going to do up another video where I will have it in a pot life for several weeks and see how it sprays and see what the nature of the paint is. But yeah, new product. It's a real game changer. I would definitely suggest buying it. I've got this from, again, Maple Airbrush, and shout out to Donna Bush. She is great to, she's a great shop, has great products. Get anything you want there for Iwata, Harden, Steenbeck, Createx line, and many, many more things. And that's for anybody, whether you're an illustrator like me, an automotive artist, or into the hobbies like models and so on. So, yeah, this is the shit. Try it out, guys. Thanks for stopping by, and if you could click like and hit share or subscribe to the channel, that would be more than appreciated. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye for now.